Alright, I'm doing a quick follow-up here on the issues I had earlier with design. So, this is what we see here is not actually going to be the official thing, but let's take a look at what actually happened here. So, the issue that I made, probably the easiest way to show you is with the last remaining Iron Duke. So we're going to open design for rebuild. And the issue that I had, so you notice ship speed is 27 knots, horsepower 109,000, yeah, pretty good, so basically 110,000. Replace machinery, and it applies the major updates to like hull form and stuff, which why they do that, I don't know, but our horsepower goes down because we have more modern, more efficient engines in there. Our speed does not change. And now if I click the bulged check, our effective displacement goes up, and there is a very slight change in horsepower. That's what I was seeing earlier, and I thought that it was compensating for the 3 knots in speed loss. But no, that change in horsepower is just compensating for the extra 500 tons displacement. So if I actually wanted to compensate for that speed loss, so let's uncheck the bulged, I would have to put enough horsepower to hit essentially 30 knots in this particular ship. So let's see what that would take. So we're currently at 27 knots. I crank this sucker up to 30 knots. We go from 102,000 up to 144,000. That is a huge difference from 102,000 to 104,000. Now, obviously, I still want the torpedo protection, so I'll bulge that. That drops my effective final speed back down to 27 knots. And that leaves enough weight remaining on this ship. I don't have enough for the additional deck armor, so my effective deck thickness does not go up. But I don't think that's actually going to be that big of an issue, because most of my engagements are taking place in this immunity range. Sure, there may be some stuff at the extreme ranges, but most of that stuff still ends up hitting your belt. So I'm not hugely worried about it. So instead what I did for the Iron Duke design, the refit 1948 Alpha design, which is what I actually intend to finish building, is I reduced the number of airplanes, I think it was to 3, and then I threw on 2 SAM launchers. So we ended up with something looking a little bit like... Hang on, that ain't quite right. Alright, so we had the 27 knots, yep, oh, that looks good. Oh, that was it. Diesel engines. Alright, nailed it. And then we're just a little bit over our deck space limitation, so we had to drop that down just a little bit. 28 and 50 looks good. 3 aircraft as opposed to the 6 we had earlier. But we have gained 2 SAM launchers, and this ship is still capable of keeping up with the main battle fleet. I think that is very much worth it. Having a platform with 2 SAM launchers, same speed, better torpedo protection, and diesel engines for better acceleration as well. So that is very much worth it. And that is the Iron Duke R1948 design. It is more expensive because of the extra horsepower we're throwing in. But even still, it is still quite a bit cheaper than building a whole new battleship. I mean, look how much this thing's costing me. And same thing with the Inconsiderable R1948 Alpha. Same refit, essentially. I ditched the extra deck in exchange for the speed to actually keep this thing at a useful fleet speed. So it's coming in at 30 knots, which is exactly what I want. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back into the game files and I'm going to redesignate these 2 ships, the Iron Duke and the Inconsiderable, as the R1948A refits. And since I'm not going to save this turn, These other two, the Imponderable and the Collingwood, are not going to have begun their refits yet. So the only ships currently undergoing refits will be the Iron Duke and the Inconsiderable herself. So namesakes of each class. And yeah, that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. So until then, Kotori 87 signing off.